Hey, Steve Stine here, and today what we're going to be doing is talking about whether or not the guitar capo is cheating. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. I actually was talking to a guitar player yesterday that was asking me some questions about playing, and we were talking about a particular song, and he said, well, I always thought that capos were cheating. And it brought back these memories throughout the years of people that refer to the capo as cheating, and I thought, let's talk about this a little bit, and I'll give you my perspective on it. Whether you believe me or not is entirely up to you. But first of all, let's talk about what is a capo. What does a capo do? Well, if we take a chord, like an open chord, like G or D or something like that, what the capo does is it allows us to put it on a particular fret on the guitar, and then it raises the pitch of those chords, right? So let's say I was playing something like this, right? But I put this on, and now it puts it in a different key, right? Something like that. So that's the point of a capo, is you can transpose or change the key of songs, or if you think of it this way, you're just changing the pitch up and down. You can still use the same chord qualities that you've been learning, but you can change the pitch by putting the capo in a different place. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, the main reason that I have found in my life to do that is when you're performing with a singer. And that singer, you want to do a particular song, but maybe that song is in a bad, the original song is in a bad key for that singer, so you change it. Oftentimes, for instance, I've performed at weddings before where somebody asks you to play, and then you're going to perform, you're going to play some song with the bridesmaid or something that you've never met, and they're flying in that day. So that person comes in, and you're going to play, you've learned your parts, and you get together with this person, and she has learned it in a different key. She was listening to some, backing track version. So now all of a sudden you've got to perform in front of all these people at this wedding. But the song, you learned it in a particular key, and she learned it in a different key. Well, she's probably not going to be the one to have to change, because let's be honest, a vocal range is somewhat limited. As a guitar player, I should be able to go wherever and cover whatever it is that she would need or he would need or whatever. So that's a great reason to use a capo, is to take all of your open chords and be able to move them up or down into a different key to accommodate another musician, vocalist, whatever it might be. Now, the topic of cheating comes in because people try and equate it to, well, you don't know your bar chords. And that might be true. Let's break this into two pieces. First of all, maybe you don't know your bar chords, right? I don't know that, Bob Dylan wakes up every day and is mad at himself because he doesn't know how to play some extended jazz chord. All of our goals are different. Our goals in guitar playing, our goals in being a musician, our goals in being a parent, our goals in life, in our work, whatever it might be. We all have different goals. And if your goal is to try and be the best guitar player you can be and learn everything that you can possibly learn, I think that's wonderful. But I still don't think it's a substitute for a capo, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. Here's what I want you to think about, is there's other people out there that are maybe learning how to play guitar as well, but their goal isn't to just know how to play a full cage system and every jazz chord and all these different things. Maybe they're singer-songwriters, and the guitar is more of an accompaniment instrument for them, for their voice. Or maybe they're multi, talented, where they write songs and they sing and they play and they record and they tour and they, all these different things. So we have to always try and keep in perspective that guitar playing is a personal journey. If I spend my every day worrying about whether or not I'm better than somebody on social media, which is just crazy, you'll drive yourself crazy doing that, you're never going to win anyway, because there is no winning. It's just, what do you want out of it? So let's get into this capo idea. So let's say we have a song that, let's use, if I can remember how to play it, let's use Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. So that goes something like this. Okay, so it's a pattern like that. Now, that's not the original key of the song anyway, but let's say I was going to play that song, like, for instance, I do shows with my daughter. She sings, I play, and we do shows. It's one of the things I do. There's other things I certainly do as well, but it's certainly a performance thing that I enjoy doing. And so what we do is we'll learn these songs and then we'll get together. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of hypothetically pick a key for her. And she'll start singing, and if it feels too low or too high to her, then I will readjust the capo. Okay, that song in particular would be, if I needed to adjust it for her voice, I'm not really going to be able to reproduce that picking pattern if I change the whole thing into bar chords, right? Because even if I could play it up there, it would be very difficult to do without the capo. Now again, if difficulty is your thing and that's what you're trying to do is prove that you can do something a certain way, I think that's wonderful. But in that instance, for me to be able to play music with my daughter, I'm not concerned with trying to show an audience how complex my chord shapes are with my fingers. I'm trying to accompany her and her voice. I'm trying to build a nice, comfortable musical element for her to sing over and let her shine. That's what my goal is at that point. That doesn't mean I don't work on my own guitar things, my own guitar wants and things like that. But in this particular instance, there's no reason to do that. So that's where a capo would be perfect, is changing the key to accommodate what she needs to sing. Okay, let's say we were doing something else where we have here's where I love bar chords. Bar chords are great because you can press on all 6 strings, which also allows you to get these big kind of blocky sounds. Okay, where when you play an open chord, this is the big difference for me, an open chord can be really raw. They're just really, you know, AC/DC, just open and crunchy. They just sound very different to me. These sound very nice. These tend to sound a little more rock and roll to me. That's another reason why I would capo versus a bar chord is, you know, if I wanted something that was still very much rock and roll in that kind of sound, I might still use a capo because I'm still able to get that from those. Where when I'm playing, let's see, where was I at? I don't even know what key I was playing in. Okay, so let's say I was going. I don't get that rawness that the open chords are giving me. Now, what I do get from bar chords are these, again, these nice full kind of blocked sounds. And the other really nice thing is because you can control all 6 strings, you can get these kind of cool kind of strum sounds by lifting your fingers, because you can deaden the strings, which is harder to do with open chords. So that might be a reason why I'd play something as a bar chord or a power chord, for instance. But you can see my point is they have different uses. I'm not just thinking of this as, well, I'm only using this because I don't know how to play something else. I know how to play bar chords and open chords and all kinds of different chords, and I still would opt to use the capo in many different situations. Now let's get to that whole cheating thing. The reason people say cheating is because they look at it from the perspective that that guitar player is no longer going to grow as a guitar player. They're never going to learn their bar chords because they're using a capo. You know, they've shut down for the rest of their life. And who are we to say that? Because how do we know that, right? And even if that were true, if that particular, well, I'm going to call them a musician and not a guitar player. If that particular musician was using a capo to write songs, to perform songs, whatever, and that's where they find their joy in playing and their comfort, what do we care if they're using a capo or not, right? Because here's the perspective I want you to walk away from understanding. Not everybody wants to be the greatest guitar player on the planet. Some people do, and some people spend their whole lives just on social media trying to be better than everybody and bashing everybody else because they want to feel good about themselves. But there's many, many other people out there that are trying to grow themselves as a musician. Maybe they're learning how to play and sing at the same time. So learning the fastest guitar solo on the planet isn't their goal. They want to learn how to write songs. They want to learn how to do whatever. Or maybe they sing and play and they tour. And then they also have a family and they also have a whatever. Because the other thing is, you know, you start adding real world elements into this whole thing and you can realize that there's a lot of really great musicians out there. Maybe they're not the greatest guitar players, but they're amazing musicians. Where there's a lot of really great guitar players that don't sing or don't write or don't record or don't perform live or don't tour or all these other things, right? Now, there can be a happy medium. What I'm saying is that's entirely up to you. So in my opinion, it all comes down to your happiness and your contentment for what you're trying to do. If you know how to play a bunch of stuff and you're enjoying yourself and you use a capo all the time to play your stuff, who cares what somebody else thinks, right? And if you feel along the way that you do want to learn some new things, which you probably will, as we most do, as most of us do, that's great too. And if you decide that you don't really care for a capo, you can see in my situation, like when I, perform on stage with my daughter, there are certain things that I really need that capo for. And I'm not going to go in my head, well, that's just dumb using a capo. I need to turn everything into a bar chord. I just don't view things that way. So that's what a capo's for. In my opinion, there really isn't such thing as cheating as long as you're enjoying the ride. I mean, as long as you're doing what you want to do with this instrument and with your voice and with your talents and your life, do what you want, okay? So is there cheating? I don't think so, but you can certainly comment below and let me know what you think. So take care, stay positive, and have a great day. Oh, and like and share this video, please, okay? Thank you so much.